Hi everyone, it's TheTidesChanging here, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. Today I'm making a pub that I have named the Rathskeller, and I chose a name because a while back I went to a place that was called the Rathskeller, and I thought it was a really cool sounding name, and I also knew that it was German, so I thought that it would fit in with the European theme of Windenburg really well. I did look up what Rathskeller means because I was curious about that, and some of you may already know this, but it's a German name for a bar or restaurant that's in the basement of a city hall. So I learned something new from that, and even though this place isn't in a basement, I still decided to give it that name because I really like the sound of it and it just stuck in my mind as the name of this place. As far as the whole inspiration for the design of this build goes, I wasn't really sure what to do before I started working on it, so I just looked up pictures of European pubs to see if it would give me any ideas, and I came across a picture of one that had an outdoor eating area on the second floor, which was on top of a dining area that was on the first floor, and then that second floor eating area connected to, or had stairs going down to an outdoor eating area that was on the first floor, and I just really liked the look of that, so I decided to recreate that on this pub, and then from there I just figured out what to do with the rest of the build. And I really like how it turned out. And there you can see the stairs going from the second floor eating area down to the first floor one. And I'm just getting all the windows and doors and such in. For the first floor dining area that's underneath the upstairs eating area, I decided to just use a bunch of glass windows, so it's got sort of a different look on the outside than the rest of the build, but on the inside it all flows together. Now I'm just adding in some of the details such as the columns and trying to figure out the railings. At first I was trying to use railings that came with Get Together because I figured since this is a Get Together kind of a build, I should probably use as many things from that expansion pack as I can. But I do believe that I ended up just using one of the base game fences because I thought that that looked a little bit better. The only problem was the coloring didn't match exactly, but I guess that's fine. I just would like it if the colorings of the objects that came with Get Together match some of the base game ones a bit. But it's not that big of a problem. Anyway, I'm almost done with the windows at this point. At first I used those glass windows that came with, I think it was Get to Work around the side, but then I decided that instead of having the medium height walls on the first floor that I wanted to just go with the shortest wall height because I felt like that gave this build a more cozy feel, and that's just really what I wanted for this. So instead of using those windows, I just went with the shorter wall height, Get Together ones, or Get to Work ones actually, which still look fine. They still go well with this place. Unfortunately, I found that going with the shortest wall height meant that I couldn't use those liquor cabinets or whatever they are that came with Get Together. They're the ones that both the pubs that came with the game have. And it was so sad when I found that out because I was really looking forward to using that behind the bar. But I did end up figuring out a solution where I could still have the shortest wall height and still use it without it going through the second floor. But we'll get to that a little bit later into this video. So right now I'm working on finishing up the details, getting in the wall paints and all that kind of stuff. I really do love the wall paints that came with this expansion pack because you can make builds look detailed so easily with it. Like I don't even have windows on parts of the first floor, but it still looks detailed. It doesn't look bare despite having nothing on the walls right now. And you also have the wallpapers with different kinds of wood trim on them, so you can get really creative with the designs, which is what I'm doing right here. I'm trying to figure out how to make it look a little bit more detailed than it was. And I just had a lot of fun with it, so I did kind of what I did with my Evergreen Estate build where I had the, I think that's what I did with that one, where I had those diagonal pieces on either side of the windows. I'm pretty sure that's it for the wallpaper though, so I'm moving on to getting the flooring on all the outdoor eating areas. I was trying to decide between the darker wood and the lighter wood, so I decided to go with the lighter one. Although it's not really that light of a wood, but I figured with all the dark colors that it would be better to go with the lighter option out of what I was trying to decide from. And then I also thought it'd be a nice touch to have some awnings over the windows. I didn't end up putting it on the stair side just because it would have ended up intersecting the stairs. A little bit of the building did get skipped by accident, and what happened was I did most of the landscaping and then I looked at it and just decided, nope, I don't really like how this looks, so I decided to just start over with a clean slate. So I deleted all the landscaping thinking that I had put the decoration that's supposed to the flags coming off of it on the decks before doing the landscaping. But it turned out I did it at some point in the middle of the landscaping and didn't realize it until I went to go edit the video. But it's not that huge of a deal. But why I decided to use a decoration that's the post with the flowers and the flags coming off of it there is that the deck looked a little bit bare to me with nothing over it. And I thought about putting trellises with flowers over it, above it, but that wouldn't really work that well with the stairs, and I wanted to try doing something new, so I thought that just having those flags going across it would look really nice. So that ended up working out pretty well, and I really did want the outside of this pub to have a very detailed and decorated look to it. So parts of it might look a bit busy, but I really do like how it turned out. I also stuck lots and lots of ivy all over the side of it, as you can see. That was another part of this build that I had a lot of fun working on. Also getting some flower boxes underneath of these windows on the side here, so it looks even more decorated. Thought about putting in an awning, but nope, that probably would have been too much. And I wanted to have more of the decorations that came with Get Together on the front of this building, but I was trying to figure out how to do it without making it look too busy and tacky, so I ended up just leaving it and not putting anything else on the front of it. Also adding in some more ivy on that side there, and then I debated putting an awning on that door coming off of the second floor. But yeah, I did get rid of that because, again, I was thinking that was a bit too busy. So we're getting pretty close to finishing up the landscaping. I thought it'd be good to get some street lighting in there to give it a more commercial look. I do end up putting that back in a little bit later on when I'm doing the nighttime lighting. I also put some more ivy at the front of the building, and now I'm putting a bunch of benches around the front and the side. In the landscaping that I scrapped, I had a bunch of flowers around the side of the building, but it just to me looked too busy, and also I felt like it didn't really fit in with the build that well, and I thought that using the benches and the trash cans would go better with the community lot kind of a look. I did get sort of stuck as to what to do around the backside because having ivy going all the way across the back wouldn't really look that great. It just looked kind of weird when I did try that out. And I was thinking about putting graffiti back there, but then I wanted this to look like a more upscale pub, so I didn't think that would be a good thing to go with. And I also thought about putting flags, some other decorations. But I just decided that it was best to go the less is more route and not put extra details back there, which is probably the best thing to do. Right now I'm putting some columns on some of the corners just to add even more detail to this build. Oh, and what I'm doing here is I'm taking the flower kind of ivy that came with Get Together and just intersecting the other ivy with it. Because I thought it looked a little bit too green, needed some more color to it, so then I thought it'd be cool to try overlapping them. So you get little pops of flowers coming through here and there, and I decided to just use all the same colors so things wouldn't get too busy. And now I was going through the roof decorations, trying to see what would look good on it. I did end up keeping the dormer. For whatever reason, it just didn't seem right for this build. But I do end up putting in a chimney along the side of the build. That's about it for the landscaping, so now we're on to the nighttime lighting. And I wasn't sure how to light the outdoor dining area that's on the first floor because can't really have a light hanging in the middle of the air, and also I didn't want to have wall lights on the glass windows. So what I decided to do was to take the garden floor lamps and just raise them up through the fence to make it look like they're sitting on it. And yeah, I thought that was a pretty good way to take care of lighting that. Now I'm just going around and lighting all of the sides. And I believe here's where I decided to add in the street lamps. I was trying to figure out how to place them so it didn't look like they were intersecting the trees that I had in the planter box or whatever you want to call whatever I did. So I just stuck them on the very edge of the lot. Hopefully they'll still be there when the lot's downloaded. I'm not sure because technically part of them goes outside the lot. But anyway, now I'm putting in the tables and chairs on the outdoor eating area. It's kind of small, so I wasn't really able to fit a whole lot down there. But it's probably best that there's not too many tables down there because there does end up being a lot of tables and chairs throughout this whole place. Probably too many, but I figured it was pretty realistic just to fit in a ton of seating. So I think that's about all the tables and chairs I fit in the top up here. Just trying to figure out how to rearrange it so that it looks kind of nice, but not too neat and perfect. And just finishing off the whole outdoor eating areas by adding in some plants. So now we're all done with the outside and it's time to move on to the inside. So my solution to the whole cabinet going through the ceiling thing was just create a sunken area for the bar, which I think ended up looking pretty neat. The only problem was that the foundation that I used in there got in the way a bit when I was placing objects, but I couldn't change it because that would end up changing the foundation on the outside. I would rather have deal with having that foundation on the inside than to have to go with different looking foundation on the outside. I still feel like there need to be a flag somewhere on the outside, so I just quickly stuck one up on that roof because I realized, hey, that would probably be a good spot to put one of those. But moving back into the interior, I'm getting the staircase going up to the second floor now because you definitely need that. And upstairs is where the bathrooms are. There's also a little common area with no, there's not a foosball table in there. There's one of those Don't Wake the Llama games and a dartboard, and some seating. And then there's also a club area up there as well. Anyway, getting back down here, I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with the wallpaper. I was thinking that just having it be all paneling was a little bit too dark. We needed to brighten up a little bit, so I just used the paneling mixed with the paint. Also adding in some stone wallpaper in the bar area because the paneling and the stone foundation just really didn't go together that well. So I felt like by having the stone wallpaper in there as well, it would help everything to blend together a little bit more. And I just got kind of stuck on the colorings to use in here because the bar I used didn't come with Get Together, so it didn't have woods that match the cabinets that are back behind it. So I ended up just making the cabinets gray so that I guess there wouldn't be so much clashing of different kinds of woods, but then I still got kind of stuck on what to do with the bar stools. But in the end, I think it all ended up coming together. So right now I'm just adding in some decorations to make everything look detailed. Without looking too busy, of course. I try not to have it look like there was too much going on, but I like with the exterior, I still wanted the interior of this build to look very decorative. So I did put in one of those chalkboards. Right now it's one that looks like game scores, but I realized that later on I do end up changing it to one that looks more like it has drink specials on it. This area over here I ended up turning into sort of a seating area. Also wanted to make sure to throw a jukebox in somewhere in here. Thought that'd be a good decoration for a pub. But this is a seating area slash foosball playing area. For whatever reason, I thought that'd be a good spot to fit that in. I did change out the couch I had in there because I didn't really like the one that was there. Oh yeah, I also used the rug that came with movie hangout stuff because I thought that pattern of it could actually look pretty cool in here. So I do use that in a couple of other places. And then I also use those really cool curtains that came with it in this build as well. We're done with that area though, so now I'm figuring out the main eating area that's in here. I try to mix and match different kinds of tables and different amounts of chairs at the tables and make it so it doesn't look all neat and orderly. So we have this larger table over here against the window, and then elsewhere in this area I do use the smaller ones. And then I also took a couple of the smaller tables and just put them right up next to each other because that is something you see in restaurants where you come in with a group and all the larger tables are taken, so you just shove two smaller ones together. So that's the look that I was going for with that. I also put one of those condiment baskets on each of the table. I thought that that would fit in really well to this kind of a build, unlike a cafe, because when I did my cafe Let's build, at first I put the baskets on each of the tables, and then I got comments saying that those wouldn't really fit in that well with the cafe since they sell stuff like croissants and you normally wouldn't put ketchup on croissants. I mean, maybe there's some people out there who put ketchup on their croissants. Who knows, maybe there's someone out there who likes ketchup on croissants. I don't know, I guess most people have kind of an odd topping for food that they like. I guess mine would be that I always like to put hot sauce on eggs. Even if I make the over easy eggs with the runny yolk, I still put hot sauce on it because I like the taste of the yolk mixed with the hot sauce. I don't know if that's like weird or if there's anyone else out there who does that. It's just my family always put hot sauce on eggs, so that's just what I started doing. I know there are a lot of people who put ketchup on eggs, but that's not something that I ever really liked. Personally, I find the taste of eggs mixed with ketchup kind of gross, but I was thinking about putting some wall speakers above the couch, but then we have the jukebox, so I was like, no, we don't really need that. Plus, maybe something small would look a little bit better over there anyway, so I just stuck some flags. Also wanted to have something as you come in the door here. At first I was going to put in a painting, but then I was like, no, we should probably have some kind of coat hook that might go a little bit better with the entrance. And I was looking over the dining area and I felt like it needed something else to it, but since we have the glass windows everywhere, I couldn't really do much in the way of decoration. So I decided to just put in a wall and have a TV and a fireplace on one side and then a painting on the other. Plus we do need a TV in this to have it be a completed bar, so I figured that would be a good spot to put one in. Plus the fireplace gives it a really nice and cozy look. The only thing is that it goes nowhere because if I thought about putting, continuing that column up through the outdoor eating area on the second floor, but then I didn't like how that looked because instead of looking out the door going outside and seeing nice landscape, you just see a stone wall. And while stone can be pretty, I feel like it would have looked a lot nicer to see landscaping, so I just didn't continue that up through the second floor and put a chimney on the roof, which might bug some of you. I know it's quite unrealistic, but this is The Sims, so you can get away with doing that. And if you don't really like that, then you could just get rid of the fireplace and leave it as just the TV, or you can just completely get rid of that whole column thing and replace it with tables. You can just do whatever you want to do with that. But now I'm on to the bathroom, and I decided to go for a mix of wood paneling and that light brown stone floor in here. At first I was going to use the stone wallpaper, but I have been using that quite a bit, so I thought it'd be good to use something different. And I do really like the warm look that this bathroom has. Here I'm trying to figure out how to arrange everything in this bathroom. And I also use the tallest half walls as a substitute for bathroom stalls since we don't actually have bathroom stalls in this game yet. That's something that I've seen some other builders do, and also when I was doing my cafe let's build, a couple people suggested in the comments that I try doing that, and it's just a really good way to get the look of a bathroom stall without having them in the game yet, and your Sims won't get embarrassed or anything like that. It still counts it as a separate room, which is good. But I'm just about done with this bathroom over here. I can't remember which one it was, like whether it was the men's or the women's bathroom, but it doesn't really matter. I furnished both of them in pretty much the same way. I just put the doors on and didn't really pay attention to which was which, but that room's done, or those rooms are done, so now moving on to the little lounge area or whatever you want to call it that's upstairs. This room and the club room I actually got pretty stuck on, especially this one. I just wasn't sure what to do in here because I obviously didn't want any more seating. So I just filled it up in with some games that your Sims can play. Also use the curtains that came with movie hangout stuff. First I was going to go with the louder color in them, but I do tone it down a bit because I felt like that really didn't fit in with this place. But they do look really nice when you overlap them to look like two-sided curtains. Yeah, I'm so glad I changed this because looking at it now, I'm just like, what was I thinking using those in this build? But thankfully I do change them. That does not stay. I just did the same thing with the seating that I did downstairs. We also have a table with a bowl of fruit on it. And there is the Don't Wake the Llama table. And I stuck the chalkboard that I had downstairs up here with the coloring that looks like game scores. Because I figured that would really work for this, like someone was writing down scores from Don't Wake the Llama or from the dartboards. Oh yeah, when I was first doing the bathrooms, I completely forgot to put the toilets in one of them, but don't worry, I remembered and I fixed it. I also changed the banners that I had around the build from the purple ones with the chess piece on them to the red ones with the fireball. And that was because I had the red curtains in here, and then I was thinking, well, the purple door doesn't really go with it that well. So I decided that it might be best instead to just go with whatever logo had the red design with it. So that was my reasoning for doing that. I picked the chess piece one at first because, for whatever reason to me, that just seemed like the best one to fit in here. I don't think I have that much more furnishing to do in this room, though. Wasn't sure what to do with curtains over those windows at first, so I just stuck one of those movie hang-up curtains on each of the windows. I really do like how those look, even with the curtain draping down on only the one side. So I think that's actually about it that I did in that room. So now moving on to the club hangout, which is of course the last room that I do in this build. And this was another one that took me a bit to figure out. Another nice thing about this club room is that they have their own little deck with some flowers on it. And I did make this room for a club like the Good Timers who like to play pub games and have bar drinks. So there's a bar in here, there's a foosball table and a dartboard. but if you wanted to use this place as a meeting place for another club that you have that does something different, then you could always just switch this room out so that it's more suited towards your club. Oh yeah, something kind of weird about this room is that the window that's next to the stairwell kind of pops into a little bit, so I tried to cover that up with a plant. I just couldn't figure out how to place the walls in a way that would look good without blocking the windows, so I just went ahead and just blocked it. Otherwise, if I had pushed that wall down a tile, I would have just had a random tile of flooring at the end of the stairs. I didn't really like the look of that. We are almost at the end of the building part of the video, so I just did want to mention, like I always do, that if you want to download this lot, there'll be a link in the description, also some other info on how to find it in-game. That's all I wanted to say, so I hope you enjoy the rest of this video.